The husband, John, was a self-made man who had built his business empire from scratch. He was hardworking, ambitious, and fiercely competitive. His wife, Sarah, was his high school sweetheart, and they had been happily married for over a decade. They had 2 beautiful children, and their marriage seemed like a fairy tale to outsiders. However, things took a turn for the worse when John's business started to thrive and attract the attention of other wealthy businessmen. Among them was Martin, a cunning and sly businessman who saw John as a threat to his own business. Martin was also married, but he didn't care about his wife as much as he cared about his business success. He saw an opportunity to get ahead by using Sarah, who was also a successful businesswoman in her own right. It started innocently enough with business meetings and networking events. However, it wasn't long before Sarah and Martin started to indulge in secret rendezvous away from the prying eyes of their spouses. They were both attracted to each other's power and wealth, and it didn't take long for their business relationship to turn into a passionate affair. Meanwhile, John was completely oblivious to his wife's infidelity. He was too caught up in his work and business trips to notice the subtle changes in his wife's behavior. Sarah was consumed by guilt and shame, but she couldn't resist her passionate affair with Martin. It was a dangerous game they were playing, but they were both too blinded by their desires to see it. It all came crashing down when John returned home early from a business trip and found Martin in bed with his wife. The shock and betrayal were evident on his face as he stood frozen in the doorway. Sarah, who was in a state of shock as well, flew into his arms as if in the clouds. She was lost for words and didn't know how to explain her actions. John's initial reaction was that of anger and hurt. However, being the shrewd businessman he was, he quickly regained his composure and started to plot his revenge. He knew that Martin was using his wife to get ahead in business, and he wasn't going to let them get away with it. He decided to use his connections and influence to bring them both down. John's first move was to expose their affair to the media. He leaked scandalous photos and videos of Martin and Sarah together, and it created a media frenzy. Martin's reputation was ruined, and he lost a lot of business deals because of the scandal. His wife filed for divorce and took most of his assets in the settlement. Sarah, on the other hand, became the talk of the town and was shamed by society for her actions. But John's revenge didn't stop there. He also used his influence to sabotage Martin's business and ruin his financial stability. He made sure that Martin's name was blacklisted in the business world, and he was unable to do any meaningful business transactions. John's connections and influence proved to be a powerful weapon, and he used it to bring Martin to his knees. As for Sarah, John filed for divorce and took full custody of their children. He couldn't forgive her for betraying their marriage and destroying his trust. He made sure that she received no financial support from him and cut off all ties with her. Sarah's life was in shambles, and she was consumed by regret and guilt for her actions. In the end, John's brutal revenge not only destroyed Martin and Sarah's lives but also left a scar on his own heart. He had achieved his goal of taking revenge on his wife and her lover, but he couldn't escape the pain and trauma of being betrayed by the person he loved and trusted the most. His marriage was irreparably damaged, and his heart was filled with bitterness and resentment. Infidelity can have devastating consequences not only for the individuals involved but also for their loved ones. It is a destructive act that can leave a trail of pain and destruction in its wake. John's story serves as a cautionary tale of how one impulsive decision can lead to a lifetime of regret and ruin. In the end, revenge only leads to more pain and suffering, and forgiveness is the only way to heal a broken heart.